As you may know, I'm Robert Cohen, and I'm going to present today on iRest. And iRest is a method of meditation whose roots are in um, the Eastern Hemisphere, and its roots are in a method of meditation called Yoga Nidra. And Yoga Nidra is the meditative heart of yoga, and developed in Kashmir, India, which is in the northern part of India, and is located on a trade route from east to west and west to east. So a lot of cultural, spiritual uh, ideas came together, and that's how it developed. And just to add here, some people refer to Yoga Nidra as sleep yoga because sooner or later, when people practice iRest or Yoga Nidra, they're going to go to sleep during the practice. So that's common. If your body needs to sleep, you'll go to sleep during the practice. Okay, so so a little bit of background. Uh, iRest was developed by a psychologist by the name of Richard Miller. And Richard Miller was either in doing an internship or starting his career in the 70s. And he took a Yoga Nidra class, found it helped him, started using it for himself, started teaching it to his clients, and he studied all aspects of Yoga Nidra. And then in the 2000s, he got the idea to offer Yoga Nidra to the military to help veterans with PTSD and other mental health disorders. And along about that time, and I'm not sure if that's the reason, he changed the name from Yoga Nidra to Integrative Restoration. And probably another reason why he changed the name, he added some psychotherapy techniques to Yoga Nidra. So he called it Integrative Restoration. And since then, probably in the last 5 years or so, they've dropped the integrative restoration and just used the acronym of iRest. So in 2010, I needed some CEU credits or units to keep my license as a licensed clinical professional counselor. And I need 40 every 2 years. And I saw if I could go up to Kripalu Institute, where I did my shamanic training. If I go up to Kripalu Institute, I could take a 5 day, it was called non-dual meditation with Richard Miller. I could do it 5 days and get 35 CEU credits. And I had a background in meditation, but didn't resonate that closely with the regular mindfulness practice. I think that came out of Buddhism. And so anyway, I gave this a shot and found it very, very helpful to me. And by the end of 5 days, I was sailing pretty high and pretty easily. So we will go now into some of the research that has been done on iRest. It's been demonstrated to help people cope with stress, resolve trauma, decrease depression and anxiety, relieve chronic pain, improve sleep, awaken to your true nature. And I'll get into true nature perhaps in a while. Okay, next. Now, iRest is only one form of mindfulness meditation, and there's multiple methods of meditation. So, but some of the results have been through research, it enhances cognitive flexibility, diabetes control, emotional regulation, focus and attention, immune system response. Okay. It enhances memory, positive relationships, relaxation, self compassion, self esteem. Reduces addictive behaviors, anger and hostility, anxiety, burnout, depression, emotional reactivity, and reduces insomnia, hypertension, need for pain medications, physical pain, reduces symptoms of PTSD and emotional stress. Okay. All right. Now we get to the start kind of outlining the practice. So, as you can see on the slide, there are 10 steps to iRest. For simplicity reasons, when I explain iRest to a client or anybody, I reduce it to 4 steps and just combine those steps, and I'll explain that. So, one of the differences between iRest and Yoga Nidra is you begin the practice from a state of well-being. And as long as I'm thinking about this, 2 fundamentals of iRest are to welcome in any and all perceptions. So you don't have to have a blank mind, a clean slate to start with. You just wherever you are, that's where you begin. And another fundamental is just to be able to let go. We'll talk about that maybe in some depth. So the so in my first step, it combines these first 3 in that image that you're looking at in the slide. So there's the heartfelt desire, there's the intention, and there's the inner resource. So for today, I think that we'll utilize the inner resource at the beginning. Again, you want to have who's ever practicing iRest, you want to be in a calm, relaxed, positive state to start with. So the inner resource is an experience from your past that when you experienced it initially or when you recall it, it gives you feelings of ease and comfort, safety, security, well-being, or just being. So I'll give a couple of examples. So oftentimes during a practice, when I do a practice, my inner resource has something to do with playing golf. When sooner or later during a round, when I'm on the golf course, I'm kind of feel free. I'm not that concerned about I'm not concerned about hitting the ball perfectly, and I'm not concerned about anything else in my life. I'm just there at the golf course enjoying myself. Now, there was an occasion when I was playing, I can, kind of picture this, remember it, when I was playing golf and sort of just became still. Everything around me was still moving a little bit, but I had that peace of mind and stillness. So when I start a practice, I want to tune into that stillness that I experience, and I want that to resonate throughout me. That's an inner resource. For some gentlemen that I've taught, I don't know if there are any ladies who had this as an inner resource, but their inner resource was fishing. Again, It's a place out in nature where they leave all their problems behind. They just go out to a still body of water. They throw the line in the water and they're just waiting, and they're not concerned about anything else. Um, some some clients that I've taught, it's being at the beach. For some clients, it's being around their family where they just feel ease and comfort. So so I'm going to guide you through a practice probably in about 5 or 10 minutes. And so you want to identify an inner release for yourself. And if you identify one for yourself now and you do the practice in 5 or 10 minutes and you identify another inner resource, feel free to use that second one. It can change. Okay. Now, my second step of iRest includes steps 4, 5, 6, and 7 of what's on that image that you're looking at. So, and that is focusing. All right. So you go through. So in an iRest practice, those 4 steps, 4 through 7, is focusing. And in a given practice, you can utilize each of those steps equally, but usually you emphasize one or two more than the others. Either way is fine. Um, so we're going in these steps. You go through the more visceral that you can feel to the less visceral, which are thoughts and beliefs. Um, so today when I guide you through a practice, we're going to first go to body sensing. So I'm going to say, for instance, become aware of sensations in your left shoulder. All that means is wherever you are, you're sitting down or lying down, and you're just feeling into how your left shoulder already feels. And then I'm going to guide you through your face, down through your body, down to your toes. Okay, so then we go to on here a step 5, and which is breath sensing. And breath sensing is what initially drew me into iRest in 2010. It was 2 breathing exercises that did it. And I'm going to, if we have time, and I think we will, I'll take you through one of those 2 breathing exercises. But the breath sensing there's a lot to it. Last year, I took a 12-month webinar. It was monthly, just on breathing techniques. It was called Breathing for Life, Pranayama, and the Psychophysiology of Respiration. And actually, that webinar series was approved for continuing education by the American Psychological Association. And me being a licensed professional counselor, that was an automatic, that I could get those CEU credits. So there's a lot to the breath. And then you can take like an inventory, so to speak, of your feelings and emotions. And then you can go on to take an inventory of your thoughts and beliefs. Okay, so the iRest practice is a microcosm for the rest of the day. The main difference is usually you're in a quiet place. Things are slowed down. You don't have distractions, so you can really focus on what's going on inside. Let's see. Okay, So, so throughout the day, oftentimes we become attached to what our feelings are, how our emotions are, and what our thoughts are. And when we, okay. And then when we do that, when things are going good, it's fine. But when things aren't going so good, then it's not good. All right. So my third step, which I'm not sure where it is on this chart, it's probably the ninth step. But my third step is you take a metaphoric step back from your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. And then when you take that metaphoric step back, you become aware, or I become aware, that I'm more than my feelings, because my feelings change from moment to moment. My emotions change from moment to moment. My thoughts change. But me being this witness is unchanging. So so throughout the practice, when I teach people, that is intermittently introduced into the practice, that um, taking that metaphoric step back, becoming aware of yourself as that unchanging witness. Okay. Now, again, iRest introduces feelings of well-being throughout the practice. So you introduce an experience of joy, which is step 8. And one of the reasons you do that is because throughout the day, uh, I'm not going to say we, but people have a tendency to suppress or push away uncomfortable feelings or thoughts. And so in the iRest practice, there's a there's an intention to let go. And when we let go, the things that we've been pushing away or suppressing come into our awareness. So to kind of connect those feelings of discomfort, we bring into the iRest practice feelings of comfort. And if we're already comfortable, we're more apt to assimilate that as discomfort and understand what the meaning of that discomfort is. So, again, the fundamental is to welcome in any and all perceptions rather than keeping a blank slate. Okay, now step nine is a process, and that's my fourth step. It's defocusing. So it is letting go. And I'm going to talk about this later. It's something that can't. It's something that is really difficult to explain in words. It needs to be experienced. But you want to let go into a state of being, whether or not you believe it or not. So you let go into a state of being, and you just keep letting go until you go to pure awareness. And that pure awareness, when you're in that state, the goal or the process is to let go completely into your into your underlying ground of being. That part of you that does not contain any of the I or me in it. It's deeper than that, and it's the ground from which the I or me or any ideas arise from. And again, you have to experience it. You can't put it on paper. Okay. Let's see. So, and then step 10 is just coming back to a more, I would say, alert and wakeful state. And so if the inner resource was introduced at the beginning, then that's introduced at the end of it. Okay. Let's see, the only thing I can add is it is common to utilize opposites, opposite thoughts, opposite feelings. And that is because when the human mind attempts to focus on two opposites at once, it jumps the brain, and this is through MRI research, it jumps the brain into something called the present centered network and out of the default network. So for this practice, these are just examples. You can pick, through the practice, I'm going to say, identify an emotion that you're either experiencing or you want to resolve. And I'm not going to ask you to disclose it or ask any questions or whatever. Okay. This is your practice, not mine. And so these are just examples of different emotions and their opposites. And then if we have time for another practice at the close of this session, then we'll probably work on opposites of cognition, which is the next slide. But we'll go back to that. So, Kimmy, go back to emotions, the one before. Okay. All right. So you can pick a couple. You can pick opposites from there. Okay. Or you can spontaneously come up with an emotion you want to work on during the practice and go from there. All right. Let me see. The only part I can go into my stuff later. Okay, so I'm going to guide you through a practice. Now, when I learned iRest, I started learning it in 2010. I don't know, there'd be like 50 plus people in the class. Out of those 50 people, I would say 45 of those 50 people would do an iRest lying down on the floor. So you can either do this sitting in the chair or you can do it lying on the floor. If you do it, if you are lying on the floor, I would recommend putting a pillow under your head to sort of it helps you get into a relaxed state, and also maybe putting something under your knees to relax your back. But everything is optional. Okay. Now, so this was the time that, so I'm going to run you through maybe a 20-25 minute practice. And so if you have any questions, now's the time to ask. And let me see how I can do this. I think I can see everybody in the room, but I'm not sure. So, Kimmy, if you see somebody raise their hand, just let me know who it is. Okay. Good. Okay. All right. Any questions thus far before we dive in? Okay. All right.
Barb,
Okay.
did you have a question? Were you raising your hand? No? Okay. Or you can just speak up. Just unmute yourself and speak up if you have a question.
Okay. So I'm going to guide you through, again, like 20 or 25 minutes of the practice. And so at the beginning, you'll either right at the beginning, you can close your eyes, or when you get comfortable in the first minute or two, you can close your eyes. I'm just going to guide you through the whole practice. Okay. All right. I've only experienced one person so far who has not been their self after the practice. You know, they thought they were a different person. All right, just kidding. Okay, so um, so I'm going to guide you through. So, all right, so settle in to the practice, and you can set your intentions to be awake and alert, and to welcome in any and all perceptions, as any perception can serve as a pointer to your true nature and underlying ground of being. And so now, as you settle in, you can close your eyes and then become aware of the environment in the room. Sounds that you hear, those that emanate from outside of you to those that might emanate from within you. Any sound can serve as a pointer towards your spacious being. And then you can become aware of the air circulating in the room and how it makes contact with the outer surfaces of your skin. And then you can feel into your body and feel as if you're giving up the weight of your body to the surfaces that support it. And then allow my words to be your words as we continue through the practice together. And so now, become aware of that inner resource, that experience from your life from which you've derived feelings of ease and comfort, safety, security, peace, and well-being. And allow that inner resource to be here with you now, and allow it to resonate those feelings of ease, comfort, safety, security, well-being, or just being throughout you like a wave. And now feel into your body and become aware of sensations in the area of the jaw and the mouth. Giving up thinking, just sensing what is already there. Sensations in the lips. Sensations inside the mouth. Gums and teeth. Sensations along the entire length of the tongue. And now, follow sensations from each side of the mouth up and into each ear. The inner canals of each ear and the outer architecture of each ear. And now become aware of sensations in the face. Become aware of sensations in the left and right cheeks at the same time. The left and right nostrils. Perhaps sensing the breath as it flows through the nostrils. And now the left and right eyes. Eyebrows. Temples. Cheekbones. The entire areas of the left and right eyes at the same time. And now, follow sensations into the forehead, scalp, back of the head, back of the neck. The whole head and face as one field of sensation. And now, become aware of sensations in the left and right shoulders. Again, giving up thinking, sensing what's already there. Follow sensations into the upper arms. Elbows and lower arms. Wrists, hands, and fingers. And now, sensing each arm from shoulder to fingertips at the same time. And now become aware of sensations inside the throat. Follow sensations into the chest. The outer walls of the chest, front, back, left and right sides, inner spaces and surfaces of the chest. And now, in the same way, follow sensations into the abdomen. Outer walls of the abdomen, front, back, sides, inner spaces and surfaces of the abdomen. In the same way, follow sensations into the pelvis, including the floor of the pelvis. And now follow sensations into the left and right hips, sensing each hip at the same time. Follow sensation into the buttocks, upper legs, knees and lower legs, ankles, feet, and toes. And now sensing the pelvis and each leg from hip to toe at the same time. And now, affirming to yourself in silence, affirming to yourself, I'm awake and aware and practicing iRest. I've been this unchanging observer, aware of all the movements of body sensations that have passed through my awareness. I've been awake and aware and practicing iRest. And now, feel into the body breathing itself. During inhalation, the belly expands. The breath moves in through the nostrils, down through the torso, filling the belly first, then the rest of the torso. During exhalation, the belly relaxes. The breath flows up through the torso and out through the nostrils. So, inhalation, belly expands. Exhalation, belly relaxes. And so now, I'm going to ask you to count your breaths from 1 to 10 in the following manner. 1, inhalation, belly expands. 1, exhalation, belly relaxes. 2, inhalation, belly expands. 2, exhalation, belly relaxes. So at your own pace, in that manner, just continue to count your breaths to yourself up to 10, beginning now. If you get lost in a thought or lose count, just begin at 1 again. And if you complete all 10 breaths, just begin at 1 again also. And now you can let go of the counting. Just let the breath find its natural rhythm. Once again, affirm to yourself in silence, affirm to yourself, I'm awake and aware and practicing iRest. I've been this unchanging observer, aware of all the movements of the breath that have passed through my awareness. I've been awake and aware and practicing iRest. And now, feel back into the body. And now, identify an emotion that you wanted to work with or an emotion that you're experiencing now. Identify that emotion and experience and become aware of how that emotion lives in the body. Where does it reside? And you can welcome in any of its accompanying visitors, such as body sensations, thoughts, feelings, images, and memories. How does that identified emotion live in the body, giving up thinking? And how would it be if that emotion were your only truth? Okay, now letting go of that emotion, identify its opposite emotion and become aware of how that opposite emotion lives in the body. Welcoming in its accompanying visitors, body sensations, the breath, feelings, other emotions, thoughts, images, and memories. How does that opposite emotion live in the body? And how would it be if that opposite emotion were your only truth? Not trying to fix or analyze, just experiencing. Staying out of thinking, staying in the body. Okay, and now you can let go of that opposite emotion and now at your own pace or perhaps utilizing your breath. Feel into that initially identified emotion and perhaps with the next breath, feel into that opposite emotion and how it lives in the body. So utilizing the breath, alternate between each of those opposite emotions and how it lives in the body. You can usually switch from one to the other at the top of the inhalation. Not trying to fix or analyze, just experiencing. And now you can utilize two or more breaths or spend as much time with each or either of those opposite emotions as you so desire. Allowing their accompanying visitors, perhaps in of memories or images or feelings. And now at the top of an inhalation, retain the breath momentarily. Become aware of all of those opposites at the same time. Exhale and see what happens. Affirming to yourself once again, I'm awake and aware, practicing iRest, experiencing ease and comfort. And now, recall a memory of an experience of joy. Recall a memory of joy. And allow that memory to be here with you now. And then utilize your senses to re-experience that memory of joy. Smell, taste, touch, hearing, seeing. Re-experience that memory of joy. Perhaps now putting a smile on the face. And now, maintaining that connection with joy, let go of the memory and just experience joy radiating out from your heart throughout your entire being. And now letting go of that, affirming to yourself, I'm aware of all that's in my awareness, all the movements of body sensations, movements of the breath, feelings, emotions, thoughts, images, and memories. I'm aware of all that's in my awareness. And now, letting go. Letting go into just being outside of time and outside of thought. Where the seer is now seeing. This somewhat mysterious inner connection to oneself and to all, just being. And now, feeling secure, safe, let go completely. Let go completely into pure awareness. It's okay to let go. And this silent stillness your underlying ground of being that knows the right response to any circumstance. That portal to your wisdom, presence, equanimity. And so while in this stillness, at times that sense of I-ness or self-awareness may arise. And once that's acknowledged, it can dissolve into the stillness of pure awareness. And so now, from this stillness, you can allow that inner resource to arise and then allow it to deliver its messages of ease, comfort, safety, security, well-being, or just being throughout you like a wave. And now, as we move toward closure of the practice, you can move a toe, a foot, finger, or hand, blink a few times, and then at your own pace, you can come back to a more wakeful state. Okay. So take your time and now if anyone has any questions or comments, anything, let's see. Looks like we're good to go here. And I think sleep yoga might be in effect. Okay. All right. And okay. Hi there, Peter. Okay. Okay. All right. So, okay. Hope that was restful for everyone. And Kimmy, do you want to come back to the slideshow? Okay. We're at the, I think, the non-dual meditation. You can, you can hit any of them. Yeah, you're right next to it, I think. Neuroscience. Yeah, neuroscience. Okay. So, um, as you might suspect, I'm not a neuroscientist, but there are four main networks in the brain. I don't know. I just know two of them: the default network and the present centered network. And then meditation helps to put somebody, helps to deregulate or downregulate the default network, and it upregulates the present centered network. All right. Next one, next slide. Okay, let's see. So, again, regarding that sense of being, it really can't be put into words. You have to experience it, and I hope you did. Let's see. Okay, so through MRIs, they show that right before the brain gets into that present center network, beta waves are reduced and gamma waves are increased, which promotes relaxation. Okay, next one. There we go. Let's see. Okay, insight increases. moments of insight. Okay. And you get out of past thinking. So the default mode network gives somebody a perspective, the past and future, and they tend to ruminate while they're in the network about experiences, and they get kind of caught on a merry-go-round. They go over the same stuff. Okay. Next one. Okay. So, and I kind of reviewed this at the beginning. So, one way to down regulate the default mode network and up regulate the present center network is to focus on each of two opposites at the same time. Okay, next, which we did with emotions and we did with hands and arms. That's what we did. All right. Let's see, gamma waves and sight. Okay, now attention becomes everywhere. So, so if you can kind of let go and attempt to become aware of what's in front of your body, behind your body, to the left, to the right, below, and above, that's when that's what it means. Attention becomes everywhere. And that also helps to help one into the present center network. And so the witness, so the last item on there, move beyond witness to witnessing. So the witness as a sense of I-ness. I think, I feel, I experience. The witnessing is letting go and letting go into that stillness. And the more you let go into the stillness, the less that sense of I-ness is, and the more you feel that underlying ground of being from which the sense of I-ness arises. Okay, next, I think. We got that. Thinking slows down, still remains a sense. Okay, and then it's common to kind of, once you're in that stillness, for that sense of I-ness to reappear, and then it's just a matter of letting go, and it will dissolve. Okay. Uh, oh, uh, I'll I'll attempt to explain what is meant by non-dual. So, in order to experience non-duality, you can experience, you can have all of these experiences. You don't have to do a meditation, but meditation just makes it really easy to do. So non-dual is that when you get into that meditative state of stillness, and then you kind of come out of it, you feel like you're connected to whatever is around you, whether it's a person, an animal, the moon, a tree. You feel that you're connected. You're not the same as the tree. You're not the same as the moon, but you feel connected. And that's what's meant by non-dual. It's your experience of non-duality. What is this? Notice the state. One returns. Okay. And so sometimes when we're able to let go completely, and when that sense of I-ness fades away or dissolves, once we come back, we feel a little differently. I'll give you an example, and I've had this experience, but I guided one of my clients through a iRest practice, and when she came out, she said, wow, everything is different. Everything is brighter. She sees more light in the world. And that's kind of been my experience when I have a good, meditation session. When I come out of it, my thinking will be clearer and everything will be brighter. Okay. Next. How does liberate? I don't know how. Oh, okay. So in so so when a person undergoes either a traumatic experience or a series of traumatic events, and they are seeking help for that, the therapist or practitioner doesn't just want to go after the trauma initially. They want to have that person experience that safe and secure experience that's never been traumatized. And then once they have that feeling of safety and security that's never been traumatized, then they can sort of address the trauma. Okay, next. It's out of time. Okay. And so that sense of being or letting go, being your pure awareness, it's always there. It's always there. And sometimes we just need to tap into it. Okay, next. Which one is the first step? Okay. Used for persons with or without emotional trauma. Words can only point us towards the experience of being and not self. Like I said, it's experiential. Okay. Next. Okay. So we may have time for how about contact me? Let's see what that is. Okay. So if you would like to contact me, um, you can phone me or you can email me at this email address. So we can see if we got time for that breathing practice. See if there are any questions beforehand. Um, okay, good. Okay, so my plan had been to do more breathing practices today, but because of, I guess, the noise canceling characteristics of Zoom, you can't hear my metronome. So we're going to do a breathing practice without the metronome. And this is one of my two favorite practices that I began with. Let's see if we can do it here. We don't have much time, but let's see. So in general, people that are more stressed than others, it feels like the breath only when they inhale only goes down as far as their chest. People that are more relaxed, it feels like it goes down all the way into the belly. That's why, the cues were inhalation, belly expands, exhalation, belly relaxes. Now, to assist the breath, we're just going to do about 5 minutes of this. We want to use something called ocean breath. Okay, ocean breath is this. So during the practice, all the breath is in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. But to demonstrate what ocean breath is, you open the lips and just take a couple breaths so you feel the inhalation hits the back of the throat. Okay, do that on your own. Couple breaths. Okay. Now, close the lips, breathe through the nostrils, and feel like the inhalation is hitting the back of the throat. So, you want to leave the throat open during and between breaths. So, it is, it's 1:10 now, and I don't know if we can go another 10 minutes. I'm not sure. Um, but we'll go another 10 minutes and see. Okay. So the breath is divided into four parts, four components. You can have the image of a Ferris wheel. You ride up the Ferris wheel during inhalation. You ride down during exhalation, a smooth transition at the top, and a smooth transition at the bottom. Okay. So at the top of the inhalation, you can choose to retain the breath for a moment or so. And at the bottom of the exhalation, you may choose to suspend the breath for a moment or second or two before the inhalation begins. Okay, so now, again, take your time, settle in. I'm going to run you through 8 minutes, 9 minutes of the practice. And now, settle in. When you're ready, you can close your eyes. And then catch the wave of the breath. Not getting ahead of it or behind it. Just catch the wave of the breath. And if you like, you can make a gentle request for the breath to lengthen. And now you can liken the breath to a Ferris wheel, riding up during inhalation and riding down during exhalation, with a smooth transition at the top and a smooth transition at the bottom. Just riding the Ferris wheel of the breath. And at the top of the inhalation, during that transition from inhalation to exhalation, see if you can keep the throat open during that transition. Perhaps feeling or hearing the breath hit the back of the throat. And then likewise, at the bottom of the exhalation during that transition from exhalation to inhalation, see if you can keep the throat open during that transition so that the system remains open during and between breaths. Feeling your way versus thinking your way, but feeling your way from breath to breath. And now, at the top of an inhalation, retain the breath momentarily And just become aware of sensations on the left side of the body and exhale. Just sensing the left side of the body. And now, at the top of each inhalation, retain the breath momentarily and allow all sensations to cross the midline of the body, move into the opposite side of the body, and exhale. So moving from side to side at the top of each inhalation. Feeling your way from breath to breath. Letting go of thinking. Becoming one with the breath. And now, at the top of an inhalation, retain the breath momentarily. Become aware of sensations on each side of the body at the same time and exhale, allowing that midline to dissolve. And now you can note the following. During the inhalation, as the breath flows in through the nostrils and down through the torso, you may experience an energetic movement upwards that lengthens the spine and brings the neck and head into a more erect posture, especially if you're sitting. And then, contrarily, during the exhalation, as the physical portion of the breath flows upwards, you may experience an energetic movement downwards that shortens the spine, leaves the shoulders like clothes on a hanger, and perhaps the neck and head nod forward slightly. And so also, you can note the following about the breath. At the bottom of the exhalation, as the physical portion of the inhalation ends, you may well note and feel that it continues and dissolves into a stillness of the body. And from that stillness, the inhalation picks up. And then likewise, at the top of the inhalation, as the physical portion of the inhalation ends, you may note that it continues energetically and dissolves into that same stillness from which the exhalation picks up. So the breath can be seen or experienced as a movement within and as a pointer to that stillness. And that stillness is comparable to that state of being that you may have experienced during the first practice. Okay, so now, again, you can move a toe, foot, finger, or hand, blink a few times, and at your own pace, come back to a more wakeful state. Okay. Okay, it was an honor to be here today. And any questions, feel free to, or comments, feel free to ask or comment. Okay, I don't think there are any. So, uh, so again, been nice working with you, and hope to see you down the line. And um, and have a good rest of the day. All right. Bye bye.